Okay, okay. So, good evening, everyone. Today's topic is international pharmacovigilance and safety regulations. So, what is international pharmacovigilance actually, and what is the safety regulation? It is nothing actually. It is like what are the worldwide policies which are available to follow it at international level, and also if it is country specific, then what is the safety regulation for that specific country? Okay, so we will see each these point in today's session. So what is the content for today's class? It is like why international regulations are required. What are the challenges in the international regulations? What are the PV regulatory compliance? What are the various reporting formats? What are the various timelines for international regulations, reporting databases, and what are the key national and international regulatory authorities for various countries? So the first is like why international regulation for PV is required. So as it is written here that as the pharmaceutical industry throughout the world are moving ahead towards becoming more competitive, regulatory agencies are being established in the various countries across the globe. So yes, like it is like the advancement of drug is moving ahead. Okay, everyone in this competitive world is like trying to develop some new medicine, trying to develop some uh, new cure or new preventive measures for the existing diseases. Okay, and it varies from country to country because like for us polio is eradicated from India, but still there are certain countries, African countries, where polio is a disease. It is an existing. It is a fatal, very fatal disease. Okay, and it is causing like everybody knows that polio is a disease in which there is a disability. Okay, lived disability, permanent disability. Actually. So that is eradicated from India, but still it is existing in some part of the Africa or some other, it is yet not eradicated from the world. So those countries where it is not eradicated, they might be, still facing challenge for that polio or and they are developing some new medicines or if they have like because every country want their own thing. Else if they have to export it or import it from the other countries, then it might be some cost incur with that. Okay. And also like these are the something which is called as the legal requirement to follow. If you have some PV, like you can see there are so many industries who are doing PV. So there should be certain norm and regulations which need to be followed to get on single page. Like there are so many companies like you can see Cogni is there, Accenture is there, everyone is doing PV. But they should follow some standard guideline. If they are doing PV for certain country, if they are doing PV for India, then they have to follow certain CDSU norms. If they are doing PV for certain EU countries, so they have to follow the EU norms. If they are doing PV for US regions, so they have to follow the FDA norms. Okay, so these agencies have their legal requirement or legal procedures. Okay, for the drug development in that particular country or particular region, and the company or the MAH, marketing authorization holder, who have the licensing for the marketing of the drug, they have to have follow those regulations if they are establishing any kind of such establishment like PV setup is there or any if they want to do the clinical trials or if they want to do some sponsor study or any kind of thing which comes under to the eye of the regulatory bodies, so they have to follow those. Like when in your colleges also, when you have to do some animal study, so there is some committee is there. Okay, that is called as ethical committee. Okay, ICB members are there. who need to be nominated for these committees. So what is that act? It is also a legal procedure, okay, which we have to follow if we are doing some animal studies, okay. So same way it is here. In the present scenario, the pharmaceuticals are considered as the most highly regulated industry in the worldwide. So yes, as you know that pharmaceuticals are the thing which a person is under pharmaceuticals. It is like medicines or any surgical things are coming. Okay, which is for the treatment of your drug. Sorry, for the disease or for treatment of any or for any operations. Okay, so those are called the pharmaceuticals. So if those are directly or indirectly impacting your health, so those need to be highly regulated. Okay, and it is a highly regulated industry. Even if you have to open a pharmacy setup, so you have to take certain permissions from DI office. Okay, if you have to open some franchisee, so you have to follow the franchise. What is the basic need for that franchisee model, and you have to take certain approvals from the regulatory authorities for that area. Okay, that particular area. So same way, because why these many regulations? When you are going to open a general store, you do not require any license or anything. Okay, you just put some material and you can open in next day only. But if you are going to open certain thing, certain store related to the medicine set or surgical product or some other thing which is related to the health, okay, which is direct like vaccine manufacturing or any manufacturing, then there would be a proper visit of that regulatory authority. They will visit that area whether it is suitable for manufacturing or not. They will give you the permission. Okay, then only. So this is that's why it is called as highly regulated. Okay, the regulatory body ensures the compliance in various legal and regulatory aspects of the drug. So yes, as I told you, they are visiting and they are checking whether this is under the compliance or not, whether it is fulfilling or not. Okay, every country has its own regulatory authority, which is responsible for enforce the rule and regulations and issue the guidelines to regulate drug development, licensing, registration, manufacturing, marketing, and labeling of the pharmaceutical product. So yes, as it is already explained you that every country have their own regulatory setup, their own regulatory body. If might be some countries do not have their own regulatory authorities, but still they have to follow certain international guidelines or national guidelines or anything. Might be that previously India also do not have any regulatory authority. At that time we were following the WHO guideline to have certain. Why these guidelines are important to be followed, so that we can maintain a standard. And if someone is asking how you have set up this, how you are doing this, so at least you have certain standard reference that you can say that we are following WHO guidelines, which is worldwide utilized by other countries as well. So same way we are also doing. If we do not have any regulatory authority in our country, and if we have any regulatory authority in our country, and if they have certain, still there are so many guidelines which are not in place for India. In that regard, India is also following certain regulations which is utilized worldwide. Okay, I hope it is making sense and it is clear for you. So what is the challenges actually? What is the challenges in international regulations? First is like to promote the public health and protect the public from harmful drugs. So yes, it is a very challenging thing because we cannot assure that each and every product which is in the market is safe. Okay, you have seen there are so many pieces or there are so many manufacturing unit which is got stopped, or there are certain seized by government because they are manufacturing some illegal drugs, or they are involved in certain duplicacy of the drug. Okay, they are doing something, what you say, which is not following the standard, and might be they are just repacking the expired drug as well and reselling it into the market. So it can be happen. It can be happen. You have seen that all the expired medicines or nearby the expiry, those medicines are returned to the companies. Okay. So if the company is following some unlawful activities, so they might just do the repacking and just print new batch number and new expiry, and they can influx that again into the market. So that how, and it is a real scenario, and it happens. Actually it happens. Okay. So you cannot say which drug you are taking. Each and every single drug is like safer for the youth. So this is a bigger challenge for in front of the regulatory authorities to establish proper legal to to establish proper legalization covering all the products with a yes. So like again, in India only you can see thousands of medicines are available. Okay, so legalize each and every product. Even you can see some other than allopathic medicines, Ayurvedic is also available, homeopathy is also available, Unani medicines are also available. So each and every medicines legalization and covering each and every product into in their umbrella, their regulatory protection, it is like somewhat very difficult. Okay. And last is what to say, to increase the worldwide regulatory growth to ensure the safety of people. So yes, it is like you hardly seen or hardly listen that today a new regulatory, because regulatory authorities are regulatory authorities. Like right now, you have seen that there was a Brexit happen in which United Kingdom announced itself that they are exiting from the Britain. Okay, that's how there is a MHRA comes into the picture. Although that MHRA was also existing previously before the Brexit as well, but now they have more responsibility to perform the activities. So it is something which is very, very rare, but regulatory body is not bonding every day, not manufacturing every day. So, and but the growth of people are increasing, like the population is, and as population is increasing, so responsibility of regulatory authorities are increasing day by day. So that might also a challenge for them. Okay. So now moving to the PV compliance. Actually, what is the compliance? Compliance is nothing. If something which is written, some guideline is there, and if we are not following those guidelines, then it would be a non-compliance. Okay. So like these are the regulatory authorities: MHRA, UK, EGA, FDA, European medical agencies. So what are those? All these are the regulatory authorities, and what like if I am in UK, so I have to follow the MHRA guidelines. If I have to set up the PV industry, okay. If I am not following, so that is a non-compliance. Like if it is written that I have to share the safety ICSR report, if the case is serious, then it needs to be submitted to within 15-day timeline. And if I am not submitting, or if I am submitting beyond that timeline, so it is a non-compliance. Okay. So it is nothing. The regulatory compliance is means that we have to ensure that whatever written, whatever the regulatory authorities, it is whether it is that guidelines are followed by the MAS or the service provider industries which are working in the PV industries actually. Okay. So there are certain reporting format of all the ICSR. So when you are talking about, actually the world is also divided into two parts. First is the European region and second is the US region. For the European region, okay, for EU and US. So for EU, The health authority is the European Medical Agency, and the format which is followed is called SIOMS. And in USA, the guideline which is like sorry, the regulatory authority is called the US FDA, and the form which is followed, that is called MedWatch form. Okay, so these are certain reporting forms which are followed. If you do not have any database and you want to report any area, you can utilize these forms and you can submit your ICSRs. So what is day zero? Day zero is actually when we are saying that PV compliance or something related to the regulatory guidelines or regulatory timelines. So in that, this day zero is very important. Why it is important? So the day zero is the day when we receive the initial information for any of the ICSR. So from that day, the regulatory clock is started, and if you have to submit a case within day 15, so that to, if suppose I receive a case today, then today will be the day zero for me, and tomorrow will be the day one, and on 15th till next 15 days, I have the time to submit that case to the competent authority, to the XYZ authority, whichever applicable for me in my area. If I am residing in UK, then it would be MHRA. If I am residing in EU, then it would be EMA. And if I am residing in USA, then it would be FDA. Okay. The regulatory reporting timeline is considered as to start on the when any person of marketing authorization holder first receive a case report that fulfill minimum. So yes, that is again a catch. Like if we receive the information and if it is you know not fulfilling the valid report criteria, okay, then again it would be a invalid report and we will not move further for the processing and submitting those ICSR. And if it is fulfilling all the criteria and it is a valid ICSR, then only we will expedite the reporting of those such ICSR. Okay. So reporting requirement in US, there are certain reporting requirement for USA, and the uh, regulatory authority for USA is none other than FDA, that is US Food and Drug Administration. Okay, so there are certain FDA guidelines, okay, which need to be followed. These are actually the CFR guidelines. CFR is the guideline, and CFR stands for Code of Federal Reserve. If you will Google it out, Code of Federal Reserve. So there are certain numbers like 310, 314, 310.3, 310.8, 314.8. Okay, so these kind of guidelines are there, and it is something related. And what are the requirements like reporting a serious case, unexpected adverse event? Okay, 15-day reports, okay, and the follow-up reports, the scientific literature reports. So these are certain requirements and what regulation need to be followed. These are nothing but these are the sections of those CFR report. Okay, those sections of those CFR report, like further requirements are for reporting the adverse reaction from the studies, reporting adverse foreign adverse experience, prescription drug marketed for the human use without any approval application. Okay, so there are certain medicines which are, in the market and approval is still not done. Submitting report from the FDA for reporting formats. So these are nothing but these are the subsections of the Code of Federal Reserve. Code of Federal Reserve is a guideline, so that is called as the CFR 21, and that is freely available on Google as well. And this CFR is published by and maintained by FDA only. Okay. in the and it is applicable in the US region. So what is the reporting format for US? I already told you. It is nothing. It is a MedWatch form. Okay. So MedWatch is the FDA reporting system for adverse event, and all kind of report or you can say ISSR you can submit, whether it is a spontaneous report, whether it is a clinical case, or whether it is a special scenario, or any lack of efficacy, or any pregnancy report, or any kind of technical complaint. So anybody can report, like who all can report, like healthcare professionals, consumers, patient can do the voluntary reporting. Okay. And what are the mode of reporting? You can report it, you download the form online and submit it to the email ID or on the website of MHRA, sorry, to the FDA website, or else you can send it by mail. If you do not have mail, then you can use the fax, or you can send it to the center sets, certain centers also. Okay, which are like belongs to the government agencies, that is USFDA. So this is how a form looks like, and there is two type of FDA 3500A MedWatch form. So one is 3500A and one is the 3500. So 3500A is a mandatory form, and that need to be utilized by the regulated industry and the user facilities. Okay, like if you have in the regulated industry, like you are an MAH and you are producing some drugs, then you have to have follow this 3500A. There is one more form that is called only 3500, and it is a voluntary form that can be utilized by the consumer and healthcare professional. So what are the various timelines to submit a case to the US region? So these are the timelines, like US required the all fatal cases or death cases within the 7 day timeline. All other serious cases within 50 calendar days. So these are days are calendar days. These are not the business days. Okay. And US, all non-serious cases, they do not require non-serious cases to be reported to the as an expedited reporting. It need to be submitted as a form of aggregate reporting. Okay. Next, come to the next. Next is like EU requirement, EU reporting requirement, and the agency for EU is the European Medical Agency. Okay. So again, like FDA, they have Board of Federal Reserve. Same way in EU, we have GVP. Okay. And GVP is publishing their modules. That is like module one, module two. So they have their certain modules. Like module one is for pharmacovigilance system and their quality system. Module 2 is for PSMF. Module 3 is for pharmacovigilance inspection. 4 is for audit. 5 is for risk management system. 6 is for reporting of the ICSR for any medicinal product. 7 is for PSUR. 8 is for post authorization safety study. Same way, they have eighth addendum. They have ninth, like for it is for signal management. 10th is for additional monitoring. So what is these? These are GVP, various the GVP modules which have to have follow. Like if I am doing the signal activities, so I have to follow the module 9. If I am doing some safety communication to any authority, then I have to follow the module for 15. If I am doing the RMP, then I have to follow the module 5. Okay. So what is the reporting databases? That is you travel. Sorry. So European Medical Agency have their own database that is called the Udra Vigilance. Okay. And it was launched like in December 2001. And it is basically includes all kind of product which is under development or new drug. They all can be included in this Udra Vigilance database system. And it is again having the I will cover that there are two modules they have. So what the European Udra system deals with the electronic exchange of ICSR, the early detection or of possible safety signals from the marketed drug, monitoring and evaluation of the potential safety issues, the continuous monitoring and evaluation of the potential safety issues. Okay, so coming to the next. So yes, these are the two kind of modules for user vigilance. The first is the EVCTM and second is the EVPM. So what is the basic difference between EVCTM and EVPM? Nothing actually. If you have a clinical trial cases, then you have to follow the CT module that is called the EVCTM. And if you have the post-marketing cases like which is obtained from the marketed drug, in that scenario, you follow EVPM that is called the Udra Vigilance post-marketing. Okay. So what is the EU time frame? So EU required all serious cases within 15 calendar days, all non-serious within 90 calendar days, and even a case which is from the EU drug, but it happens outside EU region and serious, then also they required within 15 days. But non-EU cases, which are non-serious, then they do not require those cases. Okay. US do not require their own non-serious cases, but EU required all non-serious cases which occurs inside EU region, but they do not require non-serious cases which occur outside EU region. Okay, but they required serious cases for both for EU region and even for non-EU region. Now coming to the MHRA UK, MHRA UK is came into the picture like from 2003, but the role became more prominent, as I told you, more prominent after the Brexit. Okay, because from Brexit onwards, the Britain get exited from European Union, and this United Kingdom became a solitary body. Okay, and now if they are separated from the European Union, then they need to be have to have certain regulatory agencies. And so this was previously also working, but now it is became more prominent, and the MHRA UK, which covers all kind of drug related or and also works on the device work, medicinal product, and it ensure the safety of drug. And they also have two different department that is called MCA, that is Medicinal Control Agency, and MDA, that is Medical Device Agency. Okay, so MCA basically works on the medicine and MDA basically works on device. So the reporting database for MHRA UK is Yellow Card. Okay, Yellow Card is established on 1964. Both patient and healthcare professionals are encouraged to report all kind of suspect adverse drug reactions. Okay, pharmacies are encouraged to display poster on Yellow Card like this. This is the kind of poster. Okay, and MHRA provides the yellow cards to patient. You know why this yellow card is called as yellow card? Actually, what happens? There is an interesting story behind this. These are certain old papers, very old papers, which are residing as a bulk, as a waste. Okay, waste bulk inside the offices, the government offices. So all those papers are came taken out, and if it is like one side printed and one side left blank, then those blank side was utilized, and as those are very old papers, they became yellow in colors. So that's how their name was derived as yellow card. And the blank side of that paper was utilized to mm, print this information and circulate it into the public. Okay, so that's how that card name became yellow card, and it is like a very innovative idea. So now coming to the next authority, that is TGA reporting requirements. So what is TGA? It is a therapeutic good administration, and it is basically for which country? Any idea, guys? Are you with me? Any idea TGA belongs to which country? Yes, right, Vaishnavi. So no issue, Utkarsh, like it belongs to Austria. Okay. Australia, not Austria. There are two different countries, Austria and Australia. Okay. Hope you know this. It- So the TGA time frame, so they require serious cases within 15 calendar days. Okay. If something, some safety issue, or you can say significant safety issue, then it need to be taken within 72 hours, and they do not require non-serious cases. It need to be taken care at the time of aggregate reporting, which is called as the PSUR. Okay, so these are the timelines for TGA. T what next? Safety report submission in India. Okay, so for spontaneous adverse drug reactions, we have to follow the Schedule Y, and as per Schedule Y, we have the timeline of 15 days, 15 calendar days from the date of receipt of the initial information. Okay. And like if any non-serious cases, we do not include non-serious, we are not reporting non-serious cases to Indian government, and it is a part of periodic reporting. Okay. Periodic reporting means when we are submitting the PSUR for any specific medicine, any specific molecule, then we will provide all the ADR. For example, if we are preparing PSUR for next last 4 years, so we will provide in all non-serious cases along with serious cases to that for the 4 year period to the PSUR only. Okay, that's why in governments, so many governments do not require non-serious cases, and so many still requires. Like EU is the one who still requires. Okay. And safety reporting in clinical trials. So for clinical trials, like all the suspected serious unexpected cases need to be submitted within the 24 hours. And if it is unexpected serious adverse event, then it need to be submitted in 14 calendar days. Okay. So these are the timeline for India. Now, Indian pharmacovigilance regulations. So India also published few of their modules. Okay, that is called the PV regulations for India. They have these modules: Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4. I believe this is again Module. It should be Module 5 and 6. I need to update this. I will update this. So it is like first is for pharmacovigilance system of medicine master. So this is nothing but it is the PSMF. Second is the for reporting of the ISSR. Third is for the preparation and submission of the PSUR. The fourth is for quality management system of but at MH. Fifth is for the audit and inspection. So this is somewhat equivalent to EU modules. Like EU have their own modules, module 1, module 2. Same way Indian regulatory authorities try to copy it, and they have their own modules. And module 6 is basically for submission of the RMP. Okay. So safety regulatory reporting timeline to the regulatory bodies, as it is just a brief, like what FDA required, what EU required, okay, what India required. So I already, and this is related to the safety reporting, means this is data in what frequency you need to submit the aggregate reports. Okay, like in FDA, what is that called? That is called the PADR report. What is that PADR? That is actually periodic adverse drug experience report. Okay, that need to be submitted for first 3 years, and after that annually. Okay, in EMA, it is called as the PSUR. So it for initial 2 years, it need to be submitted for every 6 months. After that, annually, following with the next 3 years, and then after for next 5 years. Okay, means it is, don't take it like difficult. It is, once a drug is launched and into the market, then it need to be monitored for six month interval. Like PSUR need to be submitted for say first 6 month, then 6 month, and once the drug completed their timeline of 2 years in the market, after that, that 6 month will extended into annually. Okay, annually till next 3 years. Like once the 5 year completed, after that they need the PSUR with the interval of 5 years. Okay. Same way, India have their timelines, like for initially it is for 6 months, for next 2 years, then annually for 2 years, and then after every 3 years. Okay, means once a drug is launched, so it need to be monitored, and PSUR need to submit it after the interval of 6 months. And once the 2 year of that drug is completed into the market, then the PSUR need to be submitted annually. And once the total life of 4 years for the drug into the market is completed, then after every 3 years, the drug need to be submit their PSUR. Okay, not drug actually, the MH which is manufacturing that drug, or which have the licensing to market that drug, those need to submit, and those need to follow these timeline. Okay. So there are certain international agencies as well. As I told you that other than this national agencies, they have international agencies also there. If we do not have any regulations, then we can follow these international agencies regulations. What are those? First is the ICH. Okay, ICH guidelines. You have seen that ICH is involved everywhere. Okay, so so ICH is also involved in PV, and they have certain their safety guidelines as well, you can say, because PV is a part of safety, and they have certain EA and F guideline, S guideline, certain kind of guideline based on the alphabets. So E guideline is basically for the safety, and like they have E1, E2A, E2R3. Okay, E2R3, IVG. So what is this? These are certain related, some is related to the clinical data management, certain is related to the clinical safety data management. Like E2B R3 is related to the implementation of the electronic transmission of the individual case safety report. E2C R2 is for periodic risk benefit risk evaluation report. E2D is for post approval safety data management. E2F is for pharmacovigilance planning. E2F, E2E is for pharmacovigilance planning, and E2F is for DSUR, okay, development safety reports. So DSUR also a form of aggregate reports, okay. which is like prepared once drug is into the development phase, then DSOR is followed, and once drug is developed and into the market, then PSOR is followed. Okay. In and other than ICH, SIOMS is also one international guidelines, or you can say international agencies, who those followed their own guidelines, that is called the SIOM working group guidelines. And like these are working group 1, 2, 3, like they have. And you can see each guideline have tried to cover the same kind of thing. Each guideline have something related to ICR, ICSR. Each guideline, like I'm not talking about the SIOMs, I'm talking about as a whole. You have seen related guidelines related to the FDA, okay, which is like Code of Federal Reserve in previous slides, and you have seen for EU that modules, GVP modules are there. You have seen for India as well. They have published their own modules. So you can compare that. Overall motto is same. Like everyone is talking about the benefit risk balance. Everyone is talking about the ICSR. Everyone is talking about the drug safety. They have certain guideline for audits. They have certain guidelines for inspection. They have certain guidelines for signal monitoring, for PSUR. Okay, certain guidelines for vaccine safety, certain guidelines for drug safety. So they have to have followed for their own reasons, and they have their own implementation. Okay, and if you do not have any guidelines, so you can utilize these international guidelines. So when we are saying SIOMs, so SIOM, this is the standard format of the SIOMs form. This how this SIOMs looks like. You already seen the MedWatch form previously, and this is the SIOMs form, which is basically used in the EU region. You can see each and every information is there, like patient information is there, reaction information is there, along with the patient details, the reactions, description of the reaction, the suspect drugs information, the concomitant drug information, the manufacturing information. Okay, each and everything is there. So these form is utilized in EU region basically. And if you do not have any particular form, so you can utilize this form also to do the report. No one will, it will not like if you have submitted some information in SIOM's form, so no one will accept. No, no, it is not like that. That I will not accept the SIOM form. No one will say this. They have to consult with the information which is present in the these sections of the form. Forms is just a format. Forms is just a like if like a medium. Okay, even if you will share all the information in email, to the certain companies or to the MH, they have to have follow, or they have to have database those cases as well. Even if you have submitted that, if you have shared the detail over simple email as well. Okay, do not follow in any forms. If you are submitting directly through email, okay, then also they have to, because they have obligation if they are getting anything from any of the medium. Because once we will cover the various sources in that class, we will learn that you will get ICSR from every medium, even from social media, even from literature, even from published article. Okay. So this is the UMC, Uppsala Monitoring Center, is also an initial like international regulatory authority, and the oldest one. Okay, which is like working in the PV. So these are in life from 1978 they are working, and they are in the coordination with the WHO for collecting, assessing, and communicating the information from member countries. So what they are doing, if the like member, who all are the member countries? Member countries are those who are following the WHO guidelines, or who all following the Uppsala guidelines. Those are called as the member countries. And if those are member countries, so they have to report those ICSR to these Uppsala monitoring centers only. And Uppsala, what UMC is doing? UMC is collecting the information from all the member countries, and they are analyzing that yes, it is happening with this drug, and this is so much prominent, and it was not written anywhere, so it might be a signal, and they have to publish something, some communication to the healthcare professional based on those findings. Okay, they are collaborating with the members country to in the development and the practice of the pharmacovigilance, alerting regulatory authorities of the member countries about the potential drug safety problems via WHO signal process, what I told you already. Okay. The main focus and source of data of the pharmacovigilance are the reports of India from, yes, so like I told you that from where they are getting information, they are getting information. The main source is the member countries only, from where they are getting all the information related to the. So these are some other key regulatory authorities, like when we are saying international, so ICH, WHO, SIOMS. Okay, for USA we have, like it is a summary of all which we have learned. Okay, for USA we have Food and Drug Administration. UK we have like Medicine and Health Care Product Regulatory Agency, that is called MHRA. Okay, Australia have Therapeutic Good Administration, that is called TGA. India have the CDSCO, that is called the Central Drug Standard Control Organization. Health Canada for Canada. Europe have European Medical Agency, that is called EMEA. Japan have Pharmaceutical and Medical Device Agency, that is called PMDA. Okay, these are certain key regulatory authorities for various countries, and there are certain more agencies. Okay, like for Germany we have BFMR, Federal Institute of for Drug and Medical Device. Hong Kong we have Department of Health and Pharmaceutical Services. Italy we have Italian Pharmaceutical Agency, Ministry of Health. Singapore we have Health Sciences Authorities, HSA. Sweden we have Medical Product Agency, that is called MPA. And Brazil we have Agência Nacional de Vigilância Sanitária. Okay, that is called ANVISA. So I guess I have completed all this. I have a quiz for you guys. Are you ready? Are you ready, guys, for quiz? Okay. In the next page, you will get 4 questions. You have to give the answer of those. Okay. Ready? Guys, ready? Please say yes or no. Okay. Okay. So, guys, like, what is the reporting format for FDA? Reporting system for FDA. We have options like whether it is MedWatch, whether it is a yellow card, whether it is YOMS, whether it is CDSCO.
MedWatch.
Okay, everyone is saying MedWatch 22222. Okay, great. So yes, guys, it is correct. And when we are, I'm saying that, and MHLW stands for,
First, first one, sir, the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare.
and for which country this is belongs to? For which
Most
country this belongs to?
India, I
Yes.
think, sir.
No, 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 no. Someone is
Japan.
Muhammad Assam. Aman is saying Japan. So yes, Vaishnavi is saying Japan. So yes,
Japan,
guys.
sir.
Yes, guys. Very good. Good answer. Great. Now I have one last question. This one. This is just right now you have seen that ANVICA stands for.
Regulation Economic Vigilance the Center. Yeah. Option 2.
Someone is saying 3, someone is saying 2.
Option 2.
Okay, okay,
Sir, option 2.
great. So yes, it is option 2 only. Okay, so I guess I have come to the end of this class. If you have any query for me, you can ask. I will stop sharing from my end and I will open for your queries. If you have any, you can ask me. Else, I will wrap up this session soon. Any queries from today's class? Kushi is saying no, sir. So, what is the difference between yellow card and blue card? Yellow card, I already told you. Blue card is related to what? Did someone have information about blue card? Even I am not aware that it is used. If you take it is utilized in PV. I don't think it any blue card is utilized in PV. Mohammad Aman Ansari. Okay. Blue card, I didn't hear anything for blue card. And yellow card and the why it is called yellow card, I told you.
Sir, blue card is, I think, mostly in ADA reporting. It is used in Australia mostly.
Not Australia,
Sir,
but if
it is for
it is for
European
Europe,
Union.
European Union because their their theme is actually blue, so might be they are utilizing and it is someone is called as like blue card, but I rarely heard that it is a blue card. But okay, so you got your answer, Aman. Yellow card is basically for MHRA and that blue card is for EU. Okay, both are the same regulatory authority, or you can say previously they are working in the same region, but now they are getting exited like separated. Okay, any other query, or we can wrap up. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, for your patience, and you was a lovely audience for the day. Thank you. Bye.